Hey guys, all right, so let's talk about interdependency in relationships. And right now I'm going to focus on marriage and um, engagement. And once you've really stepped into that threshold of fully allowing your energy to melt into one another, right? So, we talk all the time about codependency, right? To the point where we've forgotten about interdependency as a society. Now, there are some hippie communities, right, who like live in communes and things like that. I hate these kind of lighters, they're just so hard. All right, excuse me. Anyways, so the thing is that in relationship, it's so important that we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and depend on another. And, so depending on another means if you get sick and you can't work, knowing that your partner will step up and they will take care of finances and things like that. And really importantly, a woman or the individual in a relationship that's in their feminine should never feel that she needs to defend her value. Just the factor that you are alive, you are breathing, you are holding space for your partner is like an insane value. And then when you increase that value as you become more and more connected and integrated with your partner's energy, there are often times when the feminine is called to birth things, whether they are children, whether they are complete mastery programs, whatever it is. But in order to birth, we really need to go inside. We really need to get quiet. We really need to cocoon and not worry about finances, budgeting, all those things. That's more of a masculine thing. So there's times in partnership where one person is worrying about the finances and the budgeting and things like that, and another person may be doing something that seems dormant and irrelevant and unimportant, right? Like on paper, on a masculine scale. However, the thing is that just being there, birthing, and being in that connection with the divine is a tremendous gift, and it's a tremendous responsibility. And it's so interesting because the thing is that one of the things I find with my clients is the hardest thing to do is actually let go of control in their relationship and really allow themselves to sink into feeling safe enough to really be able to receive, to be taken care of, to allow yourself that cocoon time. So I'm speaking to cocooners today. So if you're not a cocooner, probably not for you. But, for instance, with the Heal Your Own Karma School, one of the courses starting this September is Safety Invoker. And part of being in relationship is feeling safe enough to communicate and navigate and negotiate your needs, the needs of the relationship, the culture of your relationship, all these different types of things, right? And it's a weird time in this world because feminism really, some of you aren't gonna like this, but really was an act of liberation and freedom, but also was done in a way that really fostered masculinity, right? And so as feminism rose, we actually brought our feminine into the masculine. And that time is over now. And it's time for us to be coming back into our feminine as a society. And what does that mean? That means being in flow. That means being in relationship with yourself, the divine, knowing that, excuse me, sometimes the tasks or actions that you're guided to do doesn't seem like it has a logical outcome, and being okay with walking down that path without understanding the logical outcome. And back to interdependency, part of being in a relationship when one of the partners is being called to birth something, right? And sometimes this is the male partner. I really feel Andrew, for instance, the past, however many, I'd say the past year has been really healing his feminine, and therefore his masculine has been able to get even more powerful, right? So I gave space for him to be in cocoon, and now I'll be going into cocoon to be birthing my book and so much more, right? And so codependency is when you feel that like you can't exist or you can't do something without that other person. Interdependency is knowing that you're fully capable of taking care of yourself and things like that, but understanding that the collective, right? So whether it's you, your partner, or you, your partner and kids, or you, your partner and fur babies, whatever it is, knowing that that can all exist and you can handle that all on your own, but also knowing that it's safe and okay to create healthy interdependency in your relationship, and so that you and your partner can learn to depend on each other and know that when there's a time that you are being called to do a certain type of work, whether it's cocooning or it's being out there in your masculine or whatever it is, knowing that that's okay and that's aligned. And one of the things I really love about marriage personally, though it's in relationship also, right? And it starts before we're even in that sacred bond, is learning that spirit is always working through you, right? So sometimes one person, spirit will just say, you're not making the money anymore. It's not happening. It's not coming in through this, valve. And you could be that valve, right? And so when you see that, instead of, the masculine or the societally driven thoughts we have are, well, I have to be successful, I have to be this, I have to be that. And often we forget that when we are in relationship, we are in a sacred journey of its own. And part of that sacred journey is melting into interdependence, right? So if you're the money maker at the time and your valve is shut, instead of seeing it as I'm not successful or there's something wrong with me, etc., being able to pause and really be able to see, okay, what is the guidance here? What is the gift? What is the messaging? I was speaking with someone earlier and we were talking, and their valve has been shut down, right? And it's because the divine really wants them to navigate and become more interdependent with their partnership. And so a lot of people who think they're interdependent, but are splitting everything 50-50 and, it's constantly tallying. These are transactional relationships, right? In a romantic relationship, there should be no transaction, right? One day I'll do the dishes, one day Andrew will do the dishes, whatever those things are, right? So whether it's doing the dishes, paying the rent, paying the mortgage, paying for meals out, all of that stuff, it's when we're splitting it down the middle and trying to create these great divisions, which if you're working on creating safety for yourself are great to a certain extent, but they're all keep you in a control cycle, right? So for instance, with safety invoker and aligning with your soulmate and bring sexy back and wealth activator, all of the 4 courses in the Heal Your Own Karma School this September, is those all teach us how to melt into relationship, to feel safe, to activate wealth in our relationships, and individually, of course, and also to allow more love in. Because when we allow ourselves to melt into allowing ourselves to be vulnerable enough to allow interdependency, where you're like, okay, it's safe, I can relax, I can lean back. Right now I need to take a pause, I can lean back and this person has my back fully, right? Oh, breathe that in. That right there is interdependency. But if you're in a relationship and you feel like I can't relax, and if I don't carry my load, and if I don't do my part, oh, I'm dead weight, then that's not real love. And that's not being in a healthy relationship dynamic. That says you're not feeling safe in your relationship. You don't have the communication skills, or you have karmic coding around like failed personal needs or romantic needs communicator, things like this. These are all things we'll be going over in the course. And, you know, interdependency is actually how we become successful. So often, you know, we're taught, oh, you have to function in this specific way. Somebody needs a little extra sage right now. So, it's too low. Love these candles. Anyways, so, you know, so understanding that you're in a flow, you're in a divine dance. And when you enter into a relationship, by trying to control it, trying to manage it, try and make it a transaction and tally everything that's going on, wow, you know, like that's really hard, you know, and that's not being in relationship. So if you're hearing this and you're feeling called, please reach out to me. I'm happy to tell you about the Heal Your Own Karma School and talk to you about it. But most importantly, I really want you all to know that the way to success in relationship is vulnerability, authenticity, and knowing your worth. And these things are easy to talk about and say, oh, just do this, just do that. And I have a feeling you've already done all of this work, haven't you? To a certain extent. But you're still in control, right? You're still in a control dynamic versus allowing, receiving, knowing that it will come to you, knowing your value, knowing that you being here in this moment in time, in this world is so valuable, just you being here breathing. And it's not about what you're producing. It's what you're bringing through you and that the divine's producing, right? Doesn't have anything to do with us. Just the ego makes us think that it's all about us. So I'm the only person who can do this, or I can only have safety if I just rely on me. And that's all coding. That's all trauma coding. That's all control coding. That's all fear-based. So not saying that this is easy, but I wanted to start this discussion today and really, really help you know that it's okay to relax in, sink into your reality, sink into your desires, sink into your relationship, and go deeper. And through that depth of connection, through that depth of faith and living in faith and showing your faith through your actions and through your trust, you are aligned. So just gonna send some hawk energy to y'all and hope that you allow yourself to really just receive this wisdom that is just truth. It's just source truth, right? And allow yourself to bring that in, bring in that wisdom and own that wisdom as your truth, as every single fiber of your being is resonating with it, right? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and let me know what you think. Comment below, give me a heart, share, whatever you want to do. I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I love you. Lots of love.